Rick Cruz was inducted into the Manitoba Baseball Hall of Fame in 2008. Rick, congratulations on your induction. Let's start with baseball on the West Coast, growing up in California and playing obviously a sport you grew up to love.
Well, I played high school baseball mainly down there. It was a hotbed of baseball. We played in the Northern League, and we had a small school compared to our other teams. And we had a good team. A couple of guys, one went to the Dodgers, one went to Chicago. And we went to the city championships, which is a huge deal there. And we did very well. We were right up into the finals. Got knocked out by Grant High, which was probably 3 times the size of our school. And for 2 years, I made the Northern League All-Star team, which was quite a feather then. You know, I enjoyed it. Then after that, I played American Legion ball, which was very well organized. It was great. We played all over, and I got hurt that year. I got hit in the eye. Just about ended everything. I still lost my left eye, and I was in the hospital for 29 days. Went down to 129 pounds, and I managed to get back on my feet. We were starting to get into the playoffs with American Legion. We went down to San Diego. We were 1 game out of going to Louisville for the finals, for the national, and we had a terrific team. And then from there, we played winter ball, and during the summer I used to come home to Pilot Mound all the time, which is my hometown. I was born there. And I had trouble making the Pilot Mound team when I was younger. They wouldn't, I had to kind of break my way into them. So it was fun.
You were invited to the California Angels rookie camp. Talk about that experience, and geez, it must have been pretty exciting.
It was. The first day we got there, they gave us uniforms and anything you needed. And I forget how many people were there all together, but there was quite a few of us. And the first thing they did after we all got checked in was we ran 180 feet on a straight line, like from first to second. And I got lucky. I got paired up with like a real speedster, so he kind of pulled me along. So I heard later, and I'm pretty sure it's true, that they pretty well knew who they were going to keep the first day. But they were using that as if you didn't run at a certain speed, you were gone. Well, there was a whole bunch of guys gone. But I think they knew that before they started. But we had a coach for every position, and it was at the Veterans Hospital in Hollywood, and they had a beautiful cathedral type, and all the patients were coming out to watch us play, and it was good.
In the summer of '65, you played for Pilot Mound in the Border Baseball League. Just talk about your stint with the Pilots and playing ball, Border Baseball League.
Yeah, it was like playing for my hometown is something that I always wanted to do, and I seemed to try harder there than I ever did before. There was some coaching there that was Dudley Lampkin. I don't know if you know him. He had my number. He could motivate me for some reason or other, and I wanted to play well there. And of course, all my friends and relatives lived there, and Pilot Mound always had a great team. They always were in the hunt, all the league championship all the time. We went to tournaments every weekend, never missed one, and we're always in the money. It was a great time, and enjoyed it very much. Too bad I couldn't have stayed there.
Yeah. Talk about the caliber of ball, though. I mean, it is still pretty decent ball, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, because we used to play against Rolla and Minot in tournaments, and they just could not believe it. They thought they just walked through us, and if we didn't beat them, they just barely beat us. And had a lot of their coaches talk to me about going down there to play, and they just could not believe it. You know, they thought they would just walk through Pilot Mound like we're just a little wee town. Well, that wasn't the case. They had their eyes open many times. Even when we were in Nicaragua, the head coach for the U.S. team was out of Minot, and he remembered Pilot Mound, and we had a great talk down there about Pilot Mound.
You were selected to play for the Canadian national team at the World Amateur Baseball Tournament in Cuba in '71. Talk about that year and just how special that was to play in that event.
That was a special year. We had, I played with the St. Agathe Bisons, and we had a great time, and we had played good ball. And Jerry was looking for, or the Brandon Cloverleaf were looking for a couple extra players, and they phoned Terry Moore, I believe it was, and he recommended myself and Brock McConaughey, and we went out there basically as spares, you know, and we got, I think it was in the first game, and things were getting a little tight, and I got, they pinch hit me, and I ended up getting a double and scoring, and then they put me in the shortstop, and ended up getting a double play. Anyway, I didn't come out of the tournament after that, and then I hit a couple of home runs. And right after that tournament, we won it, the whole thing. Right after the tournament, Jerry McCabe approached me and said, "Do you think you would like to play with the Canadian national team?" And I said, "Yeah, I think so." So that fall, Brock and I worked out at the Army base at Lipset Hall, indoors because of the weather, and tried to stay in reasonable shape, and flew to Toronto and met the team, and flew to Cuba or Mexico and then to Cuba. It was an awesome experience.
And then again the next year, Nicaragua?
Nicaragua was the same idea. We went to Camrose, Alberta that year for the Canadian National. We didn't win the whole thing, but I had a good tournament, and right after that, Jerry offered me to go again. That was it was better than Nicaragua by far. We went to Florida to train. We were ready when we got down there. We were acclimatized, and we played, I think it was 17 games in 19 days in hot, humid weather. And we had a winning record. I think it was 9-8, I think it was, I'm guessing. We had a winning record, and apparently that was the first time Canada had a winning record. And we played some good teams there. We played Japan. We had probably them in the U.S. and Cuba, of course, had a real good team. But I went 4 for 4 against Japan, and we lost. We just could not get them across the plate.
Favorite memory when you look back at your career, if you could reminisce just about something that you'll take with you forever, this one highlight or an event that happened in your career.
There's been a lot. One I really cherish, and there's a funny thing about baseball and hockey. I don't remember too many things. I remember some bad things. But I was we were playing Nicaragua in Havana in Cuba. There was 60,000 plus there. They were hanging from the rafters. Huge stadium. You couldn't talk. You couldn't hear yourself talk. And, we were, I can't remember the score. We were down 1 run or we were tied 1 run. I can't remember. It was a very low scoring game. And I got a solo home run. And it's hard to hit a home run in Cuba because of the humidity. The ball doesn't carry very well, and I hit this line shot, and I knew it had a chance, but I was very thrilled to see it go over into the stands, high wall, and it was packed with people, and around the bases, and I can't remember the rest of the whole game, but I remember that very well, and the ambassador of Canada came in onto our bus as we were leaving that night, wanted to shake my hand. He was at the game. So I remember that very well.
In June of 2008, you were inducted into the Manitoba Baseball Hall of Fame. Talk about that day, that evening, the memories, being on at the podium, and just thanking everybody that put the wheels in motion and made you the great player that you were.
Yeah, that was more than just an induction for me. It was a thrill. I don't know if you're aware, but I had over 50 people there, and it was like a family reunion. I had friends that I went to school with 45 years ago or 40 years ago that flew up for the induction, which is, I just couldn't believe it. And of course, walking around the floor before it all got going, everybody you ran into had memories, and it was just great. Recommended for everybody. I was really nervous about doing an acceptance speech, and it was a strange thing that came over me when I got to the microphone. I felt calm and relaxed, and I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it, and I thought it went very well. And I did thank everybody that came, and especially the guys that do all the work for the Manitoba Hall of Fame.
Rick, thanks for this, and congratulations. Rick Cruz was inducted into the Manitoba Baseball Hall of Fame in 2008. I'm Clayton Drager.